Hey, so today we're going to be making a Serious Eats recipe that's one of our favorites. It's a really good weeknight meal. It's 3-ingredient stovetop macaroni, and I'm actually adding a couple extra things to it because I wanted to make the leftovers last a little bit longer. I'm kind of hacking this into a homemade hamburger helper. So to the recipe that's original to Serious Eats, I'm going to be adding a pound of ground turkey. You can use ground beef, and 1 can of diced tomatoes, and that will kind of give it a little bit more of the hamburger helper flavors that you're used to. And I just do it this way because it involves buying less packaging at the store. I'm already buying the other stuff. The tomatoes come in, tin, which is recyclable. First, I'm going to tell you that we did adjust the quantities of this. The original recipe calls for, the way we usually make it calls for 6 ounces of pasta, 4 ounces of evaporated milk, and 4 ounces of shredded cheddar. I had extra evaporated milk from making king cake last week. We had 6.3 ounces of evaporated milk left over from that. So I'm just going to up the quantity of the other stuff. This recipe is really easy. They're like even numbers, and everything's kind of easy to bump up or bump down if you want to make more or less than the recipe calls for. So we're going to do 6.3 ounces of evaporated milk, the same amount of shredded cheddar, and then the pasta we just happen to have left over was 7.6 ounces, so we'll see how that works. Okay, you want to just cover the pasta with cold water. This is not normally the pot we use, but we have too much pasta now. Is that good, Scott?
More.
Okay.
That's good.
That'll make it boil fast, so you have to have everything ready for this recipe before you start cooking it.
Stir periodically to prevent the pasta from sticking. Cooking your pasta in a small amount of water will concentrate the starches, which will help to emulsify the sauce later. And not draining the pasta keeps those starches for use in the sauce. We're going to bring that back to a boil. Once you add the cheese, you don't want to cook it too hot because the sauce will break.
What does it mean when the sauce breaks?
The oils and water separate. The oils and protein separate. And that's when you get just oily sauce. So this right now, this is a nice emulsified sauce. And that's because of all the starch from the pasta and the milk. So this is an emulsified cheese sauce right now. But if we cook it too hot, the sauce will break and the oil will separate out.
This is the first time we've made it with ground turkey and tomatoes.
Go ahead, Adam.
And we drained the tomatoes because we didn't want the extra water in the tomatoes to break the sauce. Okay, this turned out pretty good for our first time. And you do have a bit of a hamburger helper flavor, but with less garbage. So, 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend. Thank you very much for watching.